All right, team, good evening. I am so pumped up for this Zoom. I know that you guys are too. We have Denise Walsh, Black Diamond. How incredible joining us tonight. It is such an honor, Denise, to have you on here. Our team is so excited to learn from you and, to take our businesses to a whole nother level. And we cannot wait to be poured into by the one and only Denise. I'm going to kind of have you just get started with sharing your story, how you found this opportunity and what it's done for you and for your family.
Yes. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to connect with you. I'm really excited to be a part of this call. And we have been distributors with It Works for almost 10 years. So next month, it will be my 10-year anniversary, which is just insane because if you had told me 10 years ago that I would have been good at this or that this would be my forever home, I never would have believed you. Our life was so different back then. But previous to It Works, I was a clinical psychologist and my husband was an aerospace engineer. And so I got my master's in clinical psychology from Wheaton College, which is right outside Chicago. And my husband, Brandon, he got his first job at GE Aerospace in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so I graduated. I got my first job right near here in Grand Rapids area at a local community mental health. And honestly, we thought we were living the dream. You know, we both went to college. We both got our first big time jobs. You know that feeling. And we were like, yes, we made it. And needless to say, it was not all that it was cracked up to be. And, I got into the field of psychology because I wanted to work with and help people. And I really feel like I have the ability to see people 3 steps ahead of where they see themselves so I can pour belief into them. And I kind of thought psychology was my way of helping people. But if anybody is in the helping professions, teacher, daycare worker, nurse, you know that it is usually not as much about the people as you would want. So for me, I felt the pull. I was working for the government system, so it was more about policy, paperwork, and procedure than it really was about people. And I got burnt out. They call it the quarter life crisis. Like, this is what I'm going to do for the next 30 years. Like, no, thank you. And Brandon, who was an aerospace engineer, it sounds like a cool job, but he honestly was in cubicle world and bored out of his mind. So we were at this place where we were kind of like, okay, we either are going to just accept that this is life and we're going through the motions, we're living for the weekends, we are kind of a zombie living, going through the week. We had to give up a lot of hobbies because we just didn't have time anymore. I mean, there was just like, all right, we just either have to accept that this is the way life is or we need a change. We met our sponsor, Cammie Dempsey, at our small group at church, which is just so fun. Like when we think back, we got paired in this small group because we both went to one class one time. And that's when they broke into small groups. And like Carla Burns was in our group and things. So it was just so divine. But I had heard Cammie talk about the wrap. She had come, to our small group from expos and she was talking about her business. But I wasn't actually interested until I had a vacation planned. So that's when I said, so tell me more about this wrap thing, So I tried her app. I saw that it worked and I became a customer actually. So I started off with defining gel. I married to the defining gel. I got the regular. Like as soon as you hear about the regular, you're like, yes, I need that. And so I became a customer and Brandon saw me use the product and his wheels started turning. So he started to see the dollar signs, hot sizzle products that nobody knows about. We are in. So we actually upgraded to become distributors 2 weeks later. And within about 2.5, 3 years in our business, we both were able to quit our full-time jobs. We quit our jobs at Triple and we got to ambassador in about 5 years. Both Brandon and I hit ambassador within 2 months of each other. So I like to say, so I can be cool like you guys, that it took me 3 years to figure out what I was doing and 2 years to rock it out because we both kind of hit our promotions at the same time. So I spent 2 years working 10 legs and getting those guys going. And then we spent it took us 8 years to go Black Diamond. So for those of you that don't know, Black Diamond means that you earn $100,000 a month with just your top distributor spot, because not everyone has a spouse, so they don't include that spot income. So just your top spot for 6 consecutive months, and we worked on that goal for 3 years before we hit it, and hit it in 2015, and now have been top income earners, so top 2 or 3 for the past 8 years. So now we both work this business full time. We've got 2 little redheaded boys who are so cute, who only know they are. I know they only know 2 work from home parents, and it's one thing to have freedom of income, income freedom, financial freedom, where we've been able to pay off our debt. We paid off our first house, so then we could buy our dream house. But we also have the freedom of time, which means I can pick my boys up from school, and I just love that. But to be honest, Alyssa, one of my favorite things about this business is brain space, because when you're so overwhelmed with life, you don't have the ability to dream. It's just harder to dream because you're like, how am I going to do this? Or, everything is so overwhelming. And what I have found in this business is the ability to just thrive. I don't have a rags to riches story, but I have a survive to thrive story where we planted and we blossomed, and we've been able to use our gifts, our talents, our skills, our strengths, and make money with it. So it's been so fun.
That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. So one of my questions that, isn't on here is, okay, so you say like it took you 3 years to kind of figure out like what you were doing. What would you, if you could change anything, like what would you change like within those 3 years? Why do you feel like it did take you 3 years?
Well, we didn't have social media. So that was one thing. We didn't have smartphones. I had a flip phone. So we really did belly to belly. I mean, it was all belly to belly. It was parties, expos, referral programs on the phone, email campaigns. We worked it a little bit differently back then. We didn't have blitz cards, that kind of thing. But I also didn't start off as a 10. John Maxwell says, in order to recruit 10s, you need to become a 10. And honestly, I would rank myself like a 3 or 4 when I first started. I didn't have a ton of confidence. I'm a hard worker. I wasn't a visionary, so I didn't see how, and I didn't know much about the industry either. So I started listening to Tony Robbins. I listened to anything by John Maxwell, anything by Joel Osteen. I was constantly listening and learning, and it just took me time to develop that confidence. At first I remember being in the wrap room, and I just came from a party. So you guys, like when you come home from a party and you're like, that was so awesome. Like that is what just happened. If you ever wonder if you should do this business, like go wrap people and then you just light your own fire again. But I remember being in the wrap room being like, please work, please work, please work, please work, please work. And so the more I wrapped people, we went to Australia for 6 weeks, and I wrapped people every single day and wrap parties at night and things. And so the more you wrap people, the higher your confidence becomes in the product. And so, the higher my confidence was in the products, and the higher my, I grew into the confidence of a 10. And then when I had that confidence, I started to recruit better people and be able to train them better too, because I felt like I knew what I was doing.
So so like saying like that you weren't a 10, what qualities and what type of person would you say a 10 is?
Yeah. So think about the people that you want to sign up on your team. Teachable. They're positive, self-motivated. I like competitive because I like to win. So I'm like, I like working with athletes. They see the glass half full. They're people who you want to be around. They add to the room rather than take away, that kind of thing. And I think I was those things, but I wasn't very loud about it. So to answer your question, what I would have done differently is just believe in myself sooner. To be honest. And because that, like my aha moments in the business throughout the years are when I realized like I can do it. Because so one thing that's interesting is 10 years ago, I signed up when Tammy was diamond, And the only like stories we had of success were Cammie and Melody McFarland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not like them.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's good or bad. I just was like, I don't think I can be as loud as Cammie. Like, Cammie owns the room when she comes in. Like, I don't know that I can do that. And so I had to figure out my own way.
Mm-hmm.
But once I realized that I could do it and I didn't have to be, you know, a product guru like Carla or as loud and crazy as Cammie, you know, those kinds of things, that I could really do it because of the gifts and skills I already had, that's when my confidence in myself grew and I became louder and more confident.
Awesome. Okay. So you guys are, I mean, you're always top enrollers. You're always leading from the front. So a lot of people are wondering kind of when you're bringing in a new distributor, what does like their first initial month look like? How do you get them started? How do you kind of help them understand how to go Ruby? What does that look like for you guys?
Well, when you do recruit a lot, you can only really successfully mentor a handful of people at a time. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of group mentoring because I don't have the ability to talk on the phone individually to people for 10 hours a day. Yeah. I mean, then I would talk to like 10 people. And I want to talk to more than that. So typically in their first 6 weeks, I really consider it my job to get the ball rolling and to help them get plugged into our team system. Mm-hmm. And so I'm the one that's reaching out. I'm the one that's saying, hey, let's do this. Like, so we'll do a new distributor Zoom, or we'll go through the E-Suite. We'll go through their why. We'll go through their, like, creating their hundreds list together. Because again, how many times do you ask someone to create a hundreds list and they don't? Mm-hmm. Like, did you create a hundreds list? Let's be honest, right, guys? So we'll do it together on a Zoom, and then we'll give them some verbiage on what to say to reach out to them. Cool. And doing it in a group with all new distributors is kind of nice because then they're like, oh, you're new too. And then how did it go for you? And they can relate to each other. Mm-hmm. So we've got team systems where I have, you know, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. is our team call. And then every Thursday night at 9 p.m. is our opportunity, like Facebook party. And so we've got team systems that I want them to eventually plug into. Mm-hmm. I want them to know they're walking into a well-oiled machine, but the first 6 weeks, I really try to become their friend and get them in. Mm-hmm. And so that means I'm the one initiating the relationship because it's not their habit to call me yet. But if they don't pick up what I'm laying down in the first 6 weeks, then I move on. You know, I don't have time to herd sheep. I have time to pave the way for people who want to come with me, but I don't have time to be like, no, really, you want to come? Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's good. Okay. So someone asked, how honest are you with someone who comes into the business wanting to make thousands monthly, knowing that it is going to take more dedication and work than someone who just wants $500 a month? Kind of how do you pave that differently for them?
So one of the questions we'll ask is, how much do you want to make a month? Mm-hmm. And then how much time are you willing to put into it? And we, you know, that way we can see if they match. So if somebody says, I want to make $3,000, $5,000 a month, but I really can only do an hour a day, then I'm like, okay, you can do that. I firmly believe you can do that. It just might take longer. So then we can have some of those honest conversations. And so, yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to make $5,000 a month, I'm like, all right, that's double diamond. You need 2 rock stars. Who are they going to be? Mm-hmm. And I really kind of just go into work mode. I don't try to sugarcoat things, but I'm also not going to say you're going to need to work 12 hours a day because I don't really think you need to. You can have quantity hours or you can have quality hours. So if you're scrolling Facebook all day long but not really working, that's not helpful. But if you have 1 to 3 hours a day of consistent like follow-up, we do power hours with our team. We've got 3 to 4 scheduled a week right now because people love them. And I get so much done because I'm sometimes a participant, which is awesome. Like I'm not leading them all the time. Mm-hmm. And you get so much done in just a dedicated follow-up hour that you really can be successful with just a handful of hours a day. But then we talk about what they're going to do during that time to make sure they're getting the most out of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I remember like the first time I ever had a conversation with you, you were telling me about like your work Wednesdays and like just how you tell people like come and like work, like I don't, like I just want to work with you. And that is something that has always like stuck with me. And I respect you so much for that, because like you're putting in the work that they're all putting in, and like you have your head down with them. So I think that is just incredible. Okay, so my next question is, it took you 5 years to go ambassador. Was there ever like a point where like you were discouraged because it took so long? Did you ever compare yourself, or just, I mean, was your head down and were you just focused that entire time that the timing didn't really even matter? Because I mean, we have people going like Ashley Sinclair, 7 months, and then like some people it has taken longer. So I'm kind of wondering how that looked for you.
Well, when I got started, there were 0 people at Ambassador. So it was still like a pipe dream that it could even happen. Tammy told me one time that her goal was to beat her dad's income in Excel. And she's like, so her goal was like $76,000 a month or something. And I was like, that is crazy. What the heck are you going to do with all that money? Now I know you give a third of it to the government, but they, but like it was still such a high in the sky kind of goal that I was never really working for Ambassador. I was just working for the next promotion that happened. And every time I promoted, I was like, oh, this is what I need for the next one. Because sometimes it doesn't make sense until you have your own names in the chart. So I wasn't discouraged that it took that long, because I didn't know how long it was supposed to take, to be honest. Tammy went ambassador right after we went. So we were triple and Tammy went ambassador. And those were they say the 5-minute mile marks. You know, when people hit it, then we went, oh, we can do it too. Yeah. And were there times when I felt discouraged throughout the journey? Absolutely. I mean, when we got to triple, we quit our jobs. We were making 5 figures a month. So like more than our combined incomes per month. And we went to Australia for 6 weeks. We came back and our leaders were gone. So essentially we got to triple doing a lot of it ourselves. And because Brandon was my double, and one leader actually got cancer and went through treatment. Another one had a divorce, and so life happened. And so the people that got us to ambassador were not the people that got us to triple, which is why I like to say it really took me 2 years. Yeah. And so we had to, you know, but there's benefits to that too, because then I had time to work with my coding legs and et cetera. But yeah. So we had to, we had to reevaluate a lot of times throughout the business and say, well, what should we change? What's working? What's not working? And keep going. But for me, the biggest thing was not like, can I really do it? Am I cut out for this? Those are the types of questions I asked myself. And I just kept pushing forward. And every time I did, I grew. And then I realized I could do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, balancing business and being a mom, I am like a big believer in the law of trade-offs, but I'm interested kind of how you have managed to balance it all.
I really believe we can have it all. Like in my heart of hearts, I believe, and this is what I'm just continuing to put out in the world, that we can make $300,000 a month working an intentional 6 to 8 hours a day and be a thriving business person and a thriving mom. So because of that, I really just try to focus on what I'm doing at that time. So the worst thing that happens with moms, in my opinion, is when you're with your kids and you're like, I should be working, or you're working and you're like, I should be doing this with my kids. Like there's always guilt, right? So I really just try to be fully present with what I'm doing. And when I'm working, I'm working. And I'm a work from home mom, not a stay at home mom, which was another shift in my mind. And when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids and I'm playing and we're doing, you know, going on trips or whatever it is. So I really do try to like be in focus. So with that being said, I do have support set up because I don't think we can necessarily be everything to everyone. Yeah. So I do have help. I ask for help. That's something else I had to learn. Growing up with a stay-at-home mom who did everything, I had to learn that it was okay and to really decide where, if you ever read 4 Hour Work Week, what's making me money, what has to be me, and then outsource the rest. So we do outsource mowing the lawn, we outsource cleaning the house sometimes, we outsource the things that don't make us money so we can focus on the things that do. And that creates brain space because I don't have to think, oh, I have to clean the toilets today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's been helpful.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So another question is, do you have like a daily checklist you follow or a 6 list, and kind of how do you organize your day, and what does that look like? What does your day consist of?
Yeah. Most of my day is honestly spent following up with leads. I feel like we generate leads, follow up with leads, train new distributors, and then check in with our leaders to make sure they know their game plan consistently. So I'm not necessarily talking to every leader every day, but I'm checking in with different leaders throughout the week.
Yeah.
I do try to reserve Sundays for recognition. So I'll look at your downline activity report and pull recognition names.
That's cool.
So I kind of have some spots throughout the week where I do specific like recognition or loyal customer or whatever. But most days I'm following up with people and then doing new distributor training and checking in with my leaders.
Awesome. Simple, simple, simple. Okay. So another question is so how are you coaching, like the girls on your team or the guys on your team going for the Go Fast bonuses? How are you kind of coaching them with it? Like getting a game plan down, getting volume? What does that look like?
So this is something new we're trying. I've heard of it in theory, but I've never actually done it. So we're trying it this time to see how it goes. So I guess I will let you know. But what I'm really telling people to do is focus on their 2 legs. And so they're doing like the title box stacking where they're really focusing on the emerald and ruby, the 3 rubies, and then those types of people. So we're building kind of down, and then we're worrying about the 3 legs wide later. And the goal is to create that momentum. And so the question is who are your 3 rubies going to be? And let's really get them engaged, make sure that they've got their executives in place and that kind of thing. So when you're focusing with the promoters, everybody really just needs to sign up 2 people and you fill in a chart. So we're finding those 3 ruby legs and really getting their buy-in and their excitement and working with them to sign up their 2 distributors. And the idea is that the chart will just fill in. So we've got the 2 teams I'm doing this with. We've got the promoters in the spots. We just really need to coach them to sign up a few on their own, and it should be good.
And like, what about volume? How do you do that? So
their first 4 customers within their first 72 hours is huge because it builds confidence in them and it gets them volume immediately. A lot of the new distributors are adding on additional packages, which gets volume quickly.
Yeah.
But we all know that we need loyals to sustain the volume. So we're doing virtual parties every week. We're helping them with their 100s list and connecting a product to each person and helping them message that out. Just getting on the phone. That's the thing. We're getting on the phone. We're booking parties. We're getting the wrap on people. We're getting excited about it. And the girl that I just came from her party, she used the system for a month and got amazing before and after pictures. So she's selling the system, and that's a good BV product or package. So when you've got your own before and after and you're like, this is what I did, that's what everybody else wants to do. And so for her, she's just being loud about her results, and people are wanting to do it too.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so where do you see the most fruit in your business? Is it posting on social media, cold messaging? Do you do videos, blitzing, wrap parties? Where do you guys like mostly grow and thrive from?
We do a little bit of everything. So I coach my people to get started with, of course, posting on Facebook and then their 100s list, warm market parties, etc. So part of my job is to help get in front of their people. So, sometimes it's not about who I know, it's about who they know and, who I meet and who they know. So my job is to really help them work their warm market because I can provide confidence and belief. So I work with my newbies to do that. like this girl three-weighing me in a lot on some of her people that she thinks will be interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was the question again? New distributors? I got sidetracked.
Shoot, let me find it. Oh, how you're building.
Yeah. Okay, so through new distributors, you know what I mean? Like through their warm market is one way. We do Facebook, honestly. I don't even know how to do Instagram. So if you ever see me post on Instagram, it's usually Brandon. And he's decided he's not an Instagram star. So we do Facebook. We do Facebook ads. We target locations. I follow up with them like I'm blue in the face, build relationships, send them on Facebook, create lists so I can stalk them appropriately and build the rapport. And then just keep working it. So Facebook is where we get a lot of our people still.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So what are 3 musts that you do for your business every day, no matter what?
The first thing is I work out and I read. And I think that I am a better leader. I'm a better mom when I'm being sold myself. So one of the most important things I can do is work harder on myself than I do even on the business. Because that's where I keep myself internally motivated and growing and excited and, challenging myself and things. So I work out every morning and then I do a half an hour devotional and I feel like that really sets my day up right. And then while I'm driving to the office, we actually have office space because our kids are still young where they have to stay home. So we leave and we do have office space. And so I go to the office and one of the first things I do is check in with some of my newbies and my leaders, and I'm sending them voice messages on Facebook. And I feel like I am just pouring life. Like, I'm so excited for today. How are you? What's going on? And just speaking positive, just breathing life into my organization. So I start my day with that and just touch base with a bunch of people. And I feel like that, again, keeps me in a good, fun mood. And then when I get to the office is when I'm on Facebook and I'm following up with people like crazy.
So on average, how many times would you say that you do follow up with people? Now I feel like I've got so many leads sometimes that it thins out how often, but I mean, it can take 7 to 12 times. I just signed up a girl that I talked to maybe 2 or 3 times, messaged a couple times, but she sees me on Facebook. And she saw it was $99 for 8 wraps and she just signed up. So every time you're posting, you're kind of hitting that. But yeah, I mean, and the thing too, guys, is that the follow-up process is part of building the rapport. So we do have random people that just sign up with us. And some people would be like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be the day? Like, oh, somebody would just randomly sign up on my site. And that does happen. But they're never that good. You guys, the follow-up process is such a piece of the puzzle you don't want to miss. The people that just randomly sign up hardly ever call me back because they don't know me. They didn't sign up because they like me. They just found us or, whatever. And the people that I follow up with and create that rapport, they're so much better. So the follow-up process is an important part. And you're not just saying, you're ready to try a wrap yet, you're ready to sign up yet, you're really building that relationship because the idea is that you want them to know that when they're a distributor, you're going to be responsive, that when they, if they want help and that they feel comfortable asking for help and connecting with you. So it's really about building, that friendship along the way. And then you can be more bold with them and be like, girl, when are you going to join me? And when they do, they will actually call you back and be a part of the team, which is way more fun. Yep. Okay. So whenever you are talking with a potential distributor and they're kind of just on the fence, what does your conversation look like to just get them to say yes? Okay. So there's a couple things. First, I want to know if they have a hard time saying no. So I'll say something like, is this something you want to work through, or are you, I don't have any money. All right. Is this something you want to brainstorm about, or are you just not really that interested? I don't have time. Okay. Is this something you want to brainstorm about, or
Another thing I'll say is that, the feel, felt, found. I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way. What I found is this something that you want to, problem solve or work through or whatever? So I'll relate to them no matter what it is. Oh my gosh, girl, me too. Like, oh, I hear ya, So I'll relate to them, and then I will tell them how I figured it out, and then I'll say, would you want to figure it out too? Do you want to brainstorm? And then sometimes I do the takeaway. I'll be like, hey, we've got a mentoring program starting on March 1st. I've got 2 spots left, and I would love, otherwise I'll offer it to someone else. And it doesn't have to be anything special, you guys. Like, my mentoring program is like doing your e-suite. Let's log in and check out your e-suite, and let's,
Yeah, that's good. I love that.
And you know what? I have honestly offered the world to lead sometimes, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can give you 2 loyal customers if you sign up tonight, and they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say I'm going to offer it to someone else, I had 6 distributors sign up one time because I said, hey, if you're not able to get in today, I'm going to have to offer it to someone else. And 6 people signed up, and I was like, they didn't care about what I was going to give them. I just cared about the takeaway, not having it. So fear of missing out is sometimes stronger than fear of success.
Yeah.
So they don't want to miss out on an opportunity. So I'll do the takeaway sometimes too.
That is so good. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, how do you help your new distributors kind of cast that vision for themselves of just how this business can impact their lives?
So one of the things, at least for me, is I didn't have a clear understanding of this business. So I didn't really understand it when I came in. And I think a lot of people are that way. So the small wins really are helpful. Whether it's wrap cash at the beginning, like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Congratulations. Like the girl tonight made $100 at her party.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And got a customer and an additional party. So, you're just excited about all the steps along the way. And then another thing that I really try to do, Cammie taught me this because she is so good at it, is just texting. Like, I'm so glad to work with you. Oh my gosh, you're such a good fit to the team. You are so good at blank, blank, blank. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about our journey together. Like, just pouring confidence into them.
Yeah.
And of course, getting them to dream, like, what will it, what's your goal number and what does that mean to you and why is that important? But sometimes even that seems so far away for people. So it's like the day-to-day, how this is going to impact your life, and then continuing to pour that belief.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which means I have to be watching them.
Yeah.
You can't pour belief into someone you don't know.
Uh-huh.
So I have to be watching their Facebook, or I have to at least be listening when I'm talking to them and saying, oh my gosh, you love products. You're a natural. Oh my gosh, you are going to be perfect. So that belief.
Yeah.
Belief.
Yeah. Okay. So always the question is, how do you motivate your team? Okay. So my job is not to motivate them. Mm-hmm. My job is not to light a fire under them. My job is to light a fire within them. So I do feel like part of my job is to help them flip the switch of I'm on the fence, like I'm a wallflower, to I'm fully engaged in the business. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that is belief transfer. So one of the things that I get to do is just talk about what I've seen, not just our success, but what I've seen people experience. So I'll say, borrow my confidence until you have your own. Mm-hmm. This is what I've seen. So again, that's why sharing stories is so powerful, because people will relate to those different stories. Mm-hmm. And then building that, because not only do I really believe that people will experience success here, but I think they're going to experience personal success here, that they are going to find a home where they feel valued, where they're important, where they can let their guard down and trust people. Like, I feel like we've got such an amazing community that
that they can be planted and they can start to blossom. So part of motivation is for them to feel like they have a bigger purpose, that their gifts and skills are being used, that they're a blessing to the team, that they are. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff, but really at the end of the day, I can't do it for anyone, and neither can you guys. I mean, you all know that. So I keep working, and people either follow or they don't. But I know that when they do and they're engaged in the community, they will learn and grow and experience success.
Yeah. Okay. So with kind of how, I guess this is kind of like a two-way question. So with how you're helping your teams gather those Go Fast bonuses, have you always like implemented like layered leadership since you kind of went ambassador through that journey? And is that kind of like what you're doing with those rubies now?
Yeah. So this is what I learned. Cammie, this is insider scoops now, I guess, because we can't really say this stuff on stage. But so Cammie, Brandon was generating leads, and Cammie was calling them because I was too scared. So what would happen is she would place them on my team and on our team, and we would do every other enrollership, and it was fair, and I was a part of stuff, but I didn't really have the rapport. So when she had to change focus to a different group, which we all have to do, that's part of one reason why my team fell apart, I think, because I didn't have the relationship with them. I didn't feel comfortable calling them like I did, but it wasn't like we were friends. I was still so nervous. So when I place distributors, I really work to build the community as best as I can. And when you're going fast, sometimes that can be hard. Yeah. But I really work to get the leader person involved, because I've had people quit who have presidentials underneath them because they don't feel like they're a part of it. Yeah. So I will do three-way calls. I will do group messages, and I always try to include the leader so they can learn in the process to build that community. Because what I want, right, is to be working with this leg and get them some momentum. They're diamond, they're double diamond. I can focus on a new leg, and they're self-sufficient, and they've got a good, gel community, et cetera, on their own. Yeah. So training the leader is a big part of that. But I also know that they might not know how to do it on their own. So they have to follow me first, which is why I try to lead and pave the way so they can learn how to do it. Yeah. And if they don't, and I've learned too that not everybody wants to be a leader. Like sometimes, you're like, why are you not calling your team? Like, why are you not doing the things that I would do? But oh yeah. So I don't. Yeah. So sometimes they just aren't. They don't like think like that. So they either need to learn it or you just do it yourself, because you can't expect everybody to be, the same, and their gifts might be something different. So yeah. Awesome. Okay. So let's see. How do you explain, like when someone asks you what you do, how do you explain that? I say, we are self-employed, or we own our own business. And then I give them a Blitz card and say, have you heard of It Works and the Crazy Rap yet? Mm-hmm. Cool. And then they say, yes. And I say, have you tried it? Or they say, no. And I say, awesome. So you should try it. Oh my God. Okay. So what is your best organization method for loyals and for distributors? And just in general, how do you say it? Yeah. So I always feel like we can be better. You know what I mean? Oh, it's like, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. I always feel like I could be better. But, was like, I need to get so organized. I was like, good luck. Yeah. One of my girls said that to Pam at conference. She goes, she's so cute. We were in our box office suite at conference, and Pam came to visit. And she said, my girl, who's a rock star, said, I just wish that I could get organized in men, And Pam goes, girl, I've never gotten organized, and I made it. So, yes. Which I thought was awesome, because But having a system is nice. And what I try to do is if you have a system, then it's not hard. Because again, you don't want to create, you don't want to have to think too hard. Because if you have to think too hard, you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a system and it's just a part of your daily habit, then it's something that is easy. So with following up with new distributors and distributor leads, that's, a no-brainer. I use Facebook a lot, Facebook lists. I've, got kind of a text message thing on my phone where I text myself their information, so then I can always just call them call them while I'm driving. And but for loyal customers, one thing we started this year, which I think has been kind of cool, was a 30-day like product challenge, a weight loss challenge where people participated in a 30-day. We had weigh-ins every week where they would send their before and after pictures. They took product,
Wow.
and that was a cool way to really engage the loyal customers, get them using the product, and then a good handful upgraded to become distributors.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm adding people as a customer right now, I'm asking them if they would like this support group, and we're adding them to this loyal customer group where a bunch of distributors post recipes and workout ideas and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea with that is that they'll just see how nice and fun we are, and they'll see results of the product because they are being reminded to use it consistently.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so what is your biggest piece of advice for someone who is diamond and above?
Okay, let me go back to the second question really quick, because I just remembered something else I do for loyals, and then I'll answer this one. So for loyal customers, another thing that I do is I schedule text messages. So I'll text them immediately a welcome email or welcome text. And we used to do emails, but nobody reads their emails anymore. So now we do text messages. So I do like a thank you so much for your order text. And then I'll schedule a text for like 3 weeks out that just says, hey, how are you loving your product? And then I'll schedule a text 2 months out that tells them, hey, have you ever thought about making money now that you have a testimony? So how do I do that? So for iPhone users, there may be another cool app that I don't know about, but I have an Android only because of this reason. It's called Mighty Text. So it's here on my computer. Alyssa, what is your phone number?
765 635 7813.
Is that right?
Yep.
So I just have these automated, they're like template set up. So yay. So what's fun about this is I can copy and paste from my eSuite.
My phone said
and I can work from my computer. And doesn't it look like it's from me? And it totally is from me. Isn't that fun? Like it's from me, but I don't have to, so my phone can be upstairs and I can be working on my computer downstairs or whatever. And so because of this app, and again, it's only for Android right now, but there may be an equivalent. I can schedule it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I switched to an iPhone or to an Android because of this. I know, it's so crazy. So this is what I do, but I'm sure there is a.
That is so awesome.
So then I'll just schedule it. Like, let's see, today's the 8th, so 22nd. I don't want to text you that late, so there we go. So this is what I do because again, I don't want to have to think. I just want this stuff to kind of be going out.
Yeah.
So that's been helpful.
Wow.
That's like been a game changer.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Cool.
So all these pictures.
Everyone's like I need an Android.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
I do know that there's a way that iPhones can text from your computer, but I don't know if you can only text other iPhones.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Cool. I know. Claire's like, we're all gonna go get Androids tomorrow.
I know. Yeah. So the question is it looks like it's from my phone, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it just looks like a text.
It's like you probably can't even see it. It's just like a normal text.
Yeah. So and you can do a group one. So I'll do this. Oh wait, you can't. Let me share my screen all the time. I know these things. Like what did we do before? So I'm gonna send a few people. I'll send Cammie, Bailey, Carla. Who else? And I can do individual. Who else? I mean, this is what I do. So if you're on my team, just so you know, if I group text you, I still love you. It is still the same heart behind it. So I'm going to text my leaders right now. So I can, it's like working smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah. So when you do that as a group, does it send individually?
So Nikki says every time I don't say her name, she knows it's a group text, but that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so individual.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
And so you can see up here, it sends them individual. Oh, and I sent that to Cammie. That's funny. Cammie and Carla, we're going to be number one. Oh dear. That's okay. Carla actually is so supportive to me. She's like, when are you going to be number one? Okay,
I love her. She's just the sweetest. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, it's awesome. It's
like
awesome. And if I ever group text you, I still have the same heart behind it. It's like not less important.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so I forget the question I asked you before we came back. I don't remember. But another one is I only have a couple left. Is
diamond. So it was the diamond one.
Oh yes,
that was it. The diamond.
Best tip for diamond and above.
Yeah. Okay, best tips for diamond and above. Keep working your business. I mean, that's the thing. We know a third of our business has to be building new, a third of our business is team training, and a third of our business is pouring into yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you're not pouring into yourself and building your own business and you're only kind of working with your team, you're missing out. Yeah. So a couple things that I had to do in the beginning was set boundaries. And what I learned is that people will text me questions out of habit. Mm-hmm. Not because they really need me to know the answer. So when I was getting, my phone would be blowing up with questions, and I'd be like, look at yourself, like go to the e-tweet, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, I learned not to respond. So if it was something that I knew they could find on their own, I would honestly just wait a half an hour. And then I'd respond back and say, did you find it? And they almost always did. So I learned that I needed to teach them how to fish, not be the fish, right? Yeah. Or whatever that is. So I set boundaries. I also learned that if I wasn't working, like one time I scheduled a three-way call with Cammie, and it was on a Wednesday. And I remember we did this three-way call, and Cammie said, Denise knows I don't work on Wednesday, but when she says jump, I say how high, something like that. Like when she wants me to, I do it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't know you don't work on Wednesday because you always answer me on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So like if you have a day off, or if it's like not your work time, then your team is still going to message you because they don't know. So you just have to have your own boundaries. Like I'm with my kids today, or I'm doing this. And so anyway, that has helped me to not feel like I'm being flooded with stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. And then also referring people to the actual, like, check your e-suite, here's customer service number, you find it here, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Team Facebook pages have helped a ton with that because there's a lot of answers they can find there. But setting your own boundaries and making sure you're working your own business is powerful, because otherwise you can get in management mode. It's like when we have 5 leads and we stare at them and we're like, are you going to sign yet? Are you going to sign yet? Yeah. And sometimes we do that with our team. We sign up 5 distributors and then we stare at them. You going to work yet? You going to do anything? So you have to keep signing yourself.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so getting their 4 loyals in 72 hours, how do you help them do that?
So when we're working their hundreds list, I'll say, write down 5 names right now of people from your job. 5 names of people who are, from high school or from college. We'll kind of create that list of at least the people that are on the top of their mind. Yeah. And then we'll go through some of the products and have them pick a product for each person. And then really a generic script that they can tailor is Sorry, nobody's writing me back. I'm like, doesn't anyone else think that we are going to be number one, or do they all think it's A? They're all like, it's a group text. Oh no, my sister wrote me back. Good job, Lisa. Okay. So I don't remember the question anymore.
Loyal 72 hours.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the generic push script is just to say something like, hey, again, we always are posting a little bit on Facebook, but we want to leave curiosity a lot of times on Facebook. You guys are like the Facebook kings and queens, so I'm sure you know a lot of that. But they I don't know if you've seen what I've been up to, but I just started with a new company, and I'm really excited because my why, and I need a few product testers of people that I know. Would you be willing to try hair, skin, and nails for 3 months and give me feedback? I'll give it to you at my cost.
Yeah.
Something like that. So these are either texts they're sending out with people they know, messages, but then of course calling them is obviously the best way to do it because they will hear your excitement. And if they're local, I'll have them do a party. Like my new distributor today, we have 2 parties this week, one on Wednesday, one on Saturday. If they can't come Wednesday, don't worry, we're having another one on Saturday, and we're just inviting people to that. We also do a weekly virtual party. So again, we use kind of that as a way to invite people.
Do you go live in those? Is that how you do them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it just you, or do you have
Yeah. We split it up, so double diamonds and above. Right now for the task force we're doing, there's someone different doing it every Thursday, and they do it a little bit different every time. But when I do a Facebook event, I like to just go live.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to have to try to figure out multiple posts.
Sure.
Refreshing their screen, or if they're driving, I kind of want them to just be able to listen.
Yeah.
So I like to do one post, but I know we've got other teammates that do differently.
Awesome.
How do you guys do it?
So we do a lot of live. Like our opportunity event is kind of what we did right before this. We usually do them at 9 on Thursdays, but we have 7 different leaders. They go live and they share their story and then how we make money, and then someone else shares their story, and then we share just facts about it works, things like that. Yeah. It's awesome. But that just hearing from just multiple leaders, I think is just so huge, just because everyone's personalities are different, and people explain things there are even leaders on my team. I'm like, you just blew my mind. I've never heard it like that, So it's really cool for just to learn from everybody, and then for potentials to hear. My
sister just did that way. I like that.
Yeah.
She just said she had 4 people go on. One told their story and then said this part of the party pad, and one told her story and did this part of the party pad, and
that's good.
She really liked it too.
Oh yeah, it's been so incredible. We love it. Okay, so my last question is, being a top number 2, almost number 1, you're gonna be number 1. I'm cheering for you. What is that's just so, oh my gosh. Some days are you just what the heck? It's just so amazing. So what would you say the top, if you could name 5 things that you feel whether it's a top tip or something that you did to get there, what would be those top 5 things that you feel it took you to become a Black Diamond and to become top of the company?
Okay, I know it's 10, but I have one last story, if that's okay. And it's a really good story. Yeah. So I'll be condensed. But I want to tell you our story to Black Diamond, because honestly, I think that it created so much momentum within our team that it wasn't on accident. So the first year that we were working towards Black Diamond, we had 4 months under our belt, and we thought that we were in, honestly. We were like, oh, this is easy. We're gonna roll into Black Diamond, no big deal. And month 5 came, and I started thinking 98. Wouldn't that be so funny if our check was $98,000 and we missed it? A couple $1,000, that'd be so fun. So this thought kept coming in my mind about how we were not going to make it, and I entertained it. 98. So Pam calls me. The day checks were going to be released and this would have been month 5. And she said to me she didn't make it. It was about 98. And I cried.
Oh my God.
And who cried over a $98,000 check? I mean, you guys, it's not about the check. It's about the goal, right?
Yeah.
So that was in 2013. And I was like, mad. So then 2014 came and I was still mad. Have you ever like had a goal and you didn't make it and you're just a little bitter? That was me. So I was like, screw it all. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like I'm working my business, but it wasn't with the same intensity or force or focus. And, you know, we had a few months, but like it didn't happen. And we were like, see, you know, I'm just still grouchy. And then 2015 came and we were kind of like, dude, if it's going to happen, like it's not going to happen on accident. Like we have to make it happen. And so we came out of conference. That was when they did 2.0. We had a clear vision. We got 2.0 to triple that year. And we decided what we wanted. So that was step 1, is we decided what we wanted. And we got really, really clear about what we wanted and what that looked like. Now, most people, I find that this is like their block. They don't even know what they want. So it's hard for anything to happen in your life if you don't even know what you want. So we got really clear about what we wanted. We wanted Black Diamond, and we got really loud about it. And so we had 4 months under our belt. Month 5 came. And month 5 came, and I started thinking 78, 78, 78, 78, 78, 78, for some reason. I don't know why. So this number keeps popping up, and I had learned last time I entertained it. This time, I chose not to entertain it. 78, and I was like, no, 103, 103, 103, 103. I put 103 everywhere. I put 103 on my shower. I put 103 on my refrigerator. I mean, 103, 103, 103. So anytime this fear cropped up, I'd be like 103, 103, 103, 103, 103. And we happened to be at our 2025 party that we did with our leaders that year, where we were all pretending like it was 2025 and we came dressed like we were going to be, and it was so much fun. And half of the battle for that party was getting clear on what you wanted. Like my leaders hated me for making them do this. We would have Zooms on like figuring out what you want kind of. So anyway, we were at the party, and I get a text from Mark that says, Denise, you did it. 1025.
Oh my gosh.
So we were just freaking out, you know, and we're like, oh my gosh. And so I knew 103 was a little bit too like close to the edge. So I amped it up to 113. So anytime fear came up, and you guys, fear is going to come up no matter what rank you are, no matter what your goal is, fear comes up. So that month, you know, what if it doesn't happen? How embarrassing. I can't go to Dash if this doesn't happen. Like I'll be so embarrassed. Or, you know, like, what if it does happen? Everyone's staring at me. I mean, there's all these fears that come up, right? Yeah. And, you know, the whole 76, 76, 76 or whatever would come up. And I would just go 113, 113, 113, 113, 113. But I didn't just like decide what I wanted and say it. We took massive action. We did power hours. That was in August. Monday through Thursday from 8 to 10, we held power hours for our team. And we were all working together for a common goal. So obviously they're working on their own businesses, but they were also excited to help us achieve that goal. I mean, so many people have told me that these power hours that we did the month we went Black Diamond catapulted their business because they had never learned to work so intently before. Yeah. I had people tell me that they had dreams that we're running for president. I had people tell me that they had dreams, like my sister called and she said, I had a dream that you were in the 130s. And I was like, what? No, that'd be crazy, you know? Oh, and just all of this positive energy was going in one direction. Yeah. It was loud. And you guys, our job is not to figure out the how. Our job is to get so clear about what we want and just take massive action in that direction. And so we did power hours every day. We were working our business intensely, like intentionally and intensely with our team, all of us together. So it was a very loud voice, not just us, but like everybody. And they were all rallying for it. We were all excited. And it ended up being 131. So anytime I had this fear, I'd go 113, 113, 113, and it was 131, and we blew it out of the water, and it was insane.
Oh,
and so I share this story, you guys, because the thing that you need to do is decide what you want, get very clear, let it go from your head to your heart, and then take massive action in that direction. And the whole spiel at conference, you guys, was about the story, because that's what we did. Yeah. We just, we took massive action, and it started to snowball, and we got a ton of people on board who were excited and interested and focused on it too. And things that went above and beyond our wildest dreams happened. So that was my Black Diamond story. But it honestly,
oh my gosh,
it worked. And so anybody can do that. That's not a special thing that we had. It was a decision we made, and then we just took action, and it worked. So it's so fun.
My gosh, you got me so pumped up. Oh, I love it. I love it. I could not even begin to thank you enough for pouring into us. I know I'm going to have to go back and rewatch so I can take tons of notes. Everyone's going to go buy an Android tomorrow and have tons of power hours. Thank you so much, Denise.
Well, and what I learned is we don't need more training, right? We just need to teach our people how to work. So we were like, screw training. Let's put power hours and really just teach them how to do it, because it's not that hard, right? But.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, thank you so much. I'll send you this recording as soon as it is up.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Thanks for staying over a little bit with me, and go fast.
Woo, let's go. Bye, guys.